What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, The Self-Image Alchemist. And in this episode, I want to talk about some of the things that I've learned about manifestation over the years. I want to talk about specifically some of the things that I've noticed works and some of the things that don't really quite work. I started this journey probably somewhere back in 2018, 2019. And since then, I've had exponential growth with not just myself and my personal development, but with manifestation as well. I love to try and test things to see if they really work. I have this curious nature that I need to know how things work before I really execute or before I really get too far involved with things. I just need to understand how it works so I can better perform, basically. And that's how I am with just about everything. So I pretty much geek out on techniques and stuff with manifestation. And I've learned a lot of things that can definitely help if you want to manifest something into your life, and a lot of things that help, but not so much. I'm going to go right into the list. I got a few things that I want to cover. The first one on the list is list. Manifestation list, which is just writing things down. When I first started this manifestation journey, one of the first techniques I learned was this list method, where you will just write down specific things, very specific things that you want to manifest. It's a great way to test manifestation, because a lot of these things on these lists will come to pass. They will happen. It may not happen in the way that you maybe imagined it or exactly the way you've written it down, but for the most part, I realize, especially for me, this is true, is that they most definitely happen. I'm talking things you write down in the present tense, like simple things like I see 3 balloons, or this person compliments my beard or something. You know what I mean? Or I see X, Y, and Z car, or in this color. Someone buys me a drink, or someone pays for my food. I'm next in line. I'm always first in line. Like little things like that. It can almost be affirmations, almost. And they will manifest. It's especially something about writing them down with a pen, with a pencil. Actually putting pen to paper is so potent. You can also type these out. They work, but it's better to literally just write them out. So the list method definitely works. And it's definitely something I think that you should try. If you're struggling with manifestation, if you haven't already, this is something that definitely works. So I have books upon books of things, thousands of things that, maybe not 1,000, maybe 8,000 things that actually manifested. Like it's wild. The way that it happens, you would never expect how. The bridge of incidents is just unknown to us. So it's pretty amazing to see. I get psyched every time. But lists, they definitely work. Imagination and visualization is what I wrote down there. So does this work? Well, of course it works. The key is to do it the right way. Anything that you bring into your imagination will manifest into a reality on some level. When you visualize things, it will manifest on some level. I had things even manifest via a TV show. Things that I've been imagining, things that I even have written down. You know, you can even combine these two techniques. It makes it even more potent. But imagination and visualization, is so potent, and it definitely works. Again, key points with visualization. You definitely want to incorporate one of the senses via your sense of hearing, your sense of sight, your sense of touch, your sense of smell. Like one of those senses, try to include into your visualization. or into your, imaginal scene or your imaginal act, or whatever it is that you're imagining for yourself. Try to put some sort of, if not one of your senses, an emotion, a strong emotion or a strong feeling. Also, what I realized what helps, and this is a bonus right here, is listening to music while manifesting or imagining what you want to manifest. I've done that when I first started out this journey, and it was pretty potent. I actually manifested a beach vacation this way. Listening to music and imagining myself on the beach, it actually like manifested. It's kind of crazy. Other key points about visualization, like I said, a strong emotion, and it's almost guaranteed to come past. This is probably one of the most potent forms of manifestation, and what we don't realize, it's actually one of the most common forms of manifestation that we use, other than just speaking, spoken word. It's just imagining things. We do this all the time. We sit around and we daydream, or we think of things that we want to happen. But most of the times we spin our wheels thinking of things that we don't want to happen. And eventually those things end up happening. So visualization is very powerful. We just tend to use it more often than not in the wrong way. So very powerful and potent technique. Imagination or visualization definitely works. So definitely works. Vision boards. Vision boards. Vision boards are helpful. Are they going to be the thing to bring you a manifestation? Honestly, I'm doubtful. That hasn't been my experience. But vision boards really do help. Imagine a vision board. If I were to describe a vision board is like a visual affirmation, basically. It's just like repeating an affirmation over and over again until it seeps into the subconscious, and eventually it becomes a part of your reality. Vision boards are the same way. It's something that you see that's constantly reminding you of this life or these things that you want to experience, that you want to manifest. And it's just a reminder of that. And it's to be used, in my opinion, with other techniques or with other forms of manifestation. I don't think it's something that's going to get you there by itself unless you have a really strong intention. And maybe I do a video on that, but yeah, you definitely need some strong intentions if you plan to use just a vision board alone to manifest something. In my opinion, that's been my experience. Maybe you have a different experience. I'd love to hear about it. Have I manifested things off my vision boards? Yes. Small things. I haven't manifested like a house or anything, or a car. Maybe a car. That's kind of a bit of a story, but again, I had a strong intention behind that. So that's my whole point. So vision boards, will I recommend just to do this by itself? Absolutely not. So will it work by itself? In my opinion, not really. I'm going to have to say no. Are they helpful? Yes, they are definitely helpful. Will it get you your dream life? Probably not. Again, unless you already have some strong intention, and if you're probably well on your journey, or if you can detach from it enough. If you can detach from it enough while still having that strong intention and that strong desire for it to actually manifest, then yeah, it could work, but not strong enough for me to say that this is something that I would definitely recommend by itself. So kind of works, kind of doesn't. It kind of adds. It's kind of an extension of, I guess, visualization, but it's something you can just kind of like just put up on the board. You can just glance at it every now and again. So, but visualization and imagination does in fact work. So, like I said, vision board is kind of like an extension of that. It's like a visual affirmation. So, and affirmations definitely do work. And speaking of affirmation, that's actually the next thing on the list. So, do affirmations work? Yes. Affirmations are, I would say, a crucial part of manifestation. For so many reasons, so many reasons. So if there are some things that you want to manifest into your life, and bring forth in reality affirmations. They work beautifully. Saturate your mind with the idea of the thing that you want. Like, I mean, like, yeah, just the affirmation. You can force them, and it works. I noticed I even tried that. You can write them down, say it once, never bring them up again. It'll still eventually end up manifesting just because you've written it down. And again, you can combine a lot of these things that I have on this list. But affirmations are by far one of the most potent. I'm not gonna say potent. One of the most useful tools when manifesting. It's basically saying the right words to align with the reality you want to be in, as opposed to not saying the right words. And that has a lot to do with the way you're thinking, which is really the huge key in this case with affirmations. It helps you change your way of thinking on a normal basis, because it needs to be normalized, these affirmations. And that's the key point with affirmations. You need to make them like normal, and not the affirmations themselves, but the thing that you're writing down, like I'm confident, or I'm wealthy, or I'm attractive, or I'm fit, or whatever the affirmation may be. And those are very simple affirmations. Affirmation can be a lot longer. I wouldn't recommend it being too long. The longer, the more I recommend you repeat it daily, and and so on and so forth. I recommend that you constantly repeat these affirmations on make it a ritual. I have this long list of affirmations that I like to say about myself, and it immediately puts me in a different mood. So what I've done is I've actually combined that with, I guess, visualization, or a vision board, I guess you can say, and I snapped a picture of it. So I don't actually have to read the long list every day of affirmations. I can just kind of like look at it, and it immediately reminds me of that because I've read the list enough, and that's how powerful affirmations can be, really. Once you get an idea of those affirmations and you can just look at the list and kind of have them in your head, it works. It works pretty powerful. But if you're just starting out, I would honestly go down and read each one. Affirmations are crucial to manifestation. It really does help. So, and with that said, I'm going to move on. And I think this is going to be the last one for this video. I have a ton of them, so I make this kind of like a series. So the last one I have here, and this is going to be a bonus. I wrote doing nothing versus taking action. How do I want to go about this? I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, once you imagine, you don't have to do anything, or once you decide on what you want, you don't have to actually do anything. You can just assume that you have it already and do nothing because you can't control anything too. Yeah, well, these statements are all true. You really can't do anything to make something manifest. You can't. It just happens. It's a byproduct of this reality. Like it's going to happen. However, to physically and actually and realistically do nothing, it's not going to get you your manifestation. It's just not going to happen. Some action will be required by you, and that action is being that version of you. A lot of people mistake taking no action means you don't have to do anything. Like, it's crazy. Like, if I wanted to be like, I use me for example. If you want to be a YouTuber, if I want to transition from other forms of social media and from platforms and move over to YouTube, I got to actually record videos and post them to YouTube. I got to be that person. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do nothing and just imagine and just going to happen and it's going to fall in my lap. No, action is required. And I understand this is a physical manifestation that I'm doing. Like, it's something that I have to do. But we live in a physical world. Like, any manifestation that's going to come to pass for you requires you doing some kind of physical action, even if that action is as subtle as you just acting a certain way. Okay? So that's it. Like, for me, it just so happens to be me acting a certain way would be me filming and making videos and posting them. That's my action. you know, and even when I'm not doing that, I'm still acting like a YouTuber because I'm thinking like one. Throughout the day, I'm thinking like, look, I wrote this list. That's an action. Writing down a list of, potential video ideas. That's an action. You know, the littlest things can be an action. That's you being that version of yourself. It's just that simple. So doing something, so manifestation requires action. This physical world requires you to do physical things. It's just the nature of reality. So to do nothing, I think is a huge misconception. Like you most definitely need to take some sort of action. And what greater action to take other than just being, but make it relative to you. So whatever it is that you're trying to bring into reality, action is going to be required on your part. Unless you're manifesting for other people, and then in which case you don't, but you do have to be the version of yourself that knows that that person received the manifestation. Like if you're wishing, if you're imagining, let's say, health for another person, or wealth for another person, or something to happen for another person, or even yourself, you still have to go about life and maintaining a certain attitude, assumption, if you will, that that person has received it. And that would change something in you. Not necessarily something outside of you, it'll change something in you, and you will feel and act a certain way. Once you do that, it's a guarantee. And that's with any manifestation, regardless if you need to take more of a physical action other than just simply, literally just being, but doing nothing versus taking action. So yeah, that's the bonus. And yes, you most definitely need to take some sort of action. And that action is as simple, or can be as simple and as subtle as just being. So anyway, I'm going to end the video here. I hope this list helped you in some way. And it's definitely more lists to come about some of the things that work, some of the things that don't work, that I find over years of manifesting, years of testing. Stay tuned for more videos, and like and subscribe. Till next time.